What's up, besties? It's your girl Morgan here, and you're listening to Your Internet Best Friend. What is up, besties? It has been a day, and I'm going to get into why it has been a day and why I'm wearing a stained onesie on my couch. I'm in shambles right now, okay? If you're looking at me and you're like, Morgan, you usually look so cute and put together on this podcast. What is happening? We're going to get into that. It involves some hackers, some TikTok issues, but even better, beyond all of that, I'm joined by my good friend who is in Nashville for all the fun things. We're going to see the Chicks tonight. And joining me on my couch right now is my dear friend, Emily Longeretta.
I'm so excited to be here. And I'm so happy I woke up and got to spend this chaotic morning with you.
Oh my God. Let's go over the chaos that was this morning. Emily is sleeping peacefully on my couch, and I was scared that you were going to hear me crying. I literally was sitting at my desk, and all of a sudden I get an email, and there's nothing worse for anyone, but especially as like an influencer where my job and income, everything depends on being able to access my accounts.
Yeah.
I get an email and it's like, your phone number's been removed from your TikTok. Instantly, I was like, oh no. So I get on and I can't get into my app and I try everything and I was like, someone's hacking me. And then I get a bunch of emails in Arabic. Like 10 of them. And I'm like, oh my God, someone's on my TikTok. Then I go and I see that my profile photo it's no longer cute me in my ponytail and my pink dress. It's a photo of a dog. I was a dog. Really? They couldn't pick anything else.
I just feel like it's so perfect and hilarious that they would change it to a photo of a dog.
A dog. Why? And all of my followers or who I'm following wiped out. They switched the account to private. So I start panicking. I was also trying to be quiet because you were slumbering on my pull-out couch. And then I start crying. I'm like sniffling. So I went outside and I finished crying, and then you joined me.
Yeah, I woke up and doing my morning scroll through Instagram stories, as one does. And of course, you're one of the first people that show up. And it's like, I see you being like, am I crying over? I was like, wait, she's crying? I was like,
Where is she?
Where is she? And I'm looking around like, oh yeah, she has a balcony. Let me go out there and make sure she's okay.
I'm going to have my freak out panic attack on the balcony. So we have spent all morning contacting TikTok, trying to get it back. Have you ever been hacked?
Never.
Oh my God, you better freaking knock on wood right now.
Yeah, seriously. I need to change. I mean, we were talking about this. I should probably change all my passwords.
Okay,
I feel like everyone should.
I agree.
This is a reminder.
This is your PSA. If you have the same password for everything, please change it. Please turn on your two-factor I don't even know how to say authentication. That's a hard word. Turn that on because I guess mine wasn't turned on for my TikTok. But luckily, I was able to contact one of my girlfriends has a friend at TikTok, and she has been texting me all morning, and we were able to, by the grace of God, get it back.
But it wasn't easy. And imagine if you didn't have a friend at TikTok. Like, what do? It's almost impossible. I currently cannot get on my TikTok. So when this happened, I was like, let me log out of mine and see what happens when I look at yours from being logged out. I logged out and then was like, I can't log back in. Mine's temporarily suspended. So TBD if I'll be able to get back in.
So now we have this conspiracy theory, and we really went far with this one. But we're like, maybe because we're on the same Wi-Fi network, which my Wi-Fi is called Bill Y the Science Fi. We don't know, but maybe someone's hacking Bill Y the Science Fi, and that's why both of us got kicked out of our TikTok. But thank you for being a good friend and sacrificing your TikTok so I could get mine back. That is a true friend.
That's what I'm here for. Yours is much more important to your day-to-day life. I mean, honestly, though, like it's part of your business.
It is. And that's what a lot of people on my Instagram, because obviously the second something in my life happens, it goes straight to my story, which I don't know if that is a pro or a con. I actually think it's my toxic trait. It's like maybe process your emotions before putting it out to the masses.
I don't think so, because I feel like you said something recently that you were like, it's my Instagram. I can do whatever I want on it.
No, and yeah, I actually posted that yesterday. You are a good friend. I don't even think my parents at this point read my Instagram. I told you,
you're like the first person that shows up on my stories. So I'm like, I'm that like person, that friend that you like, I'm the first one to look at your stories that you think is crazy.
I'm honored. I'm happy that someone actually does read my very long captions. But yeah, it is true. I had this epiphany where it's like, I don't know, as a creator, and I mean, you probably get it too because your job is a lot on social media. By the way, Emily is a badass reporter for Variety. So I'm going to brag on you because I feel like you're going to not say that. She's really cool. She casually posts photos with Reese Witherspoon like it's nothing. And I'm like, Emily, why are you not freaking out? You're like, it's normal.
No, it's still not normal. I feel like I still freak out a little bit, but I have to like, you have to draw the line. You have to be like professional, and then I can freak out. I will say sometimes I'm like, oh, I wish I could tell my like 20-year-old self this when I'm like living off of like SpaghettiOs and don't know how I'm going to pay my rent the next month. And I'm like, oh, you're going to be doing your dream job and interviewing like the people that you have had a crush on your whole life.
Oh my God, I love that.
eat Reese with this.
Literal chills. Yeah.
Yeah.
You're besties with Reese. I'm like, okay, fine.
Oh,
Tell her how much I love her. But even with your social media, I'm sure you kind of get this. I just went on a tangent as soon as I thought of Reese Witherspoon. Sorry about that, guys. But it's like you almost can't post what you want because it's part of your job. So it's the fine line of, I know I'm an influencer, so people want me to be entertaining. They want me to post links, and there's always this pressure to go viral.
Completely.
That's like the newest thing is, well, post what you want, but you need to be posting kind of what other people want so you can go viral, and then you can grow your account. It's the only way to do it now. And I had this like epiphany yesterday where I was like, oh, I want to post what I want. I want to post sometimes corny captions. I want to post my thoughts and my feelings. And if I'm crying over my TikTok being hacked, guess what? I want to post about it because it makes me feel better.
No, 1000%. But also I think it's so important that you remind yourself that you have to have grace with yourself, because this is also, that's not just a TikTok account. Like some people are like, oh, that's just a silly thing you do when you scroll through things at night. No, this is also part of your career.
Right.
So it's a really important part of your life that you have every right to get upset over. Also, you have every right to get upset over whatever the hell you want.
Oh my God, because someone actually messaged me this and it put everything into perspective, because in my Instagram story, I did say, I was like, oh my God, this is so dumb that I'm crying about this, because I was crying about my TikTok. And they were like, no, anyone's feelings about any situation is valid. If you feel a certain way, it is valid no matter how dumb you think it is.
Yeah.
You always have to embrace what you feel. Because
my dryer started working last week, and stopped working last week, and I literally started crying. And I was like, no idea why. I'm just frustrated, and this is the straw that's breaking.
Look,
and I was
I
like,
support a
I know
cry
that's
sesh.
such a, I know it's like, oh, that's a first world problem. Like your dryer's not working. Well, you know what? It's stressful, and I pay a lot of money to have a working dryer. So,
like, what else are you supposed to do? You live in Los Angeles. You can't have a clothesline hanging outside.
God, I
You
wish.
could.
I wish I could.
You could.
I totally could. Maybe I'll just put that on my balcony. I could probably save some money on my bills.
There you go. Well, let's chit chat. So TikTok, we got it back. That was why I am in athletic wear that's on my couch. Anyways, it's been a day. Emily is here because we're seeing a concert tonight.
I'm so excited.
So excited.
Yeah, I can't wait. I feel like I also was like needed an excuse to come here because I haven't seen your new place. You have all these new things going on in your life. I moved to LA and then you left.
Well, let's talk about the difference between LA and Nashville. Well, yeah. Is this no, not your first time in Nashville.
Not my first time in Nashville, but my first time seeing your place here, like since you've lived here.
Okay.
Yeah.
What are you, because I always compare LA to Nashville. You've seen both. You live in one. What are your thoughts compared to the two?
Well, I was also New York for 10 years and then LA for now. I've been a year and a half in LA. I feel like I miss New York. That's my first thing I'm going to say. The
love
energy.
New York.
I miss the energy of New York. So that's like definitely the thing. And
Right.
I think especially now that I'm single in LA too, I miss the energy and the people of New York. I don't know how the dating is here, but from what I've heard, it's not great. And in LA, it's, as you know, completely awful.
The dating in LA is atrocious. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being good, LA dating is like a negative 50.
Yeah, I just don't know how people do it. I've been a relationship person most of my life, so I've spent very little of my time being single. So I feel like I'm still learning how to be single and how to date. And my friends are very encouraging of me going on the apps and doing that. And I go through phases where I can't do it. But I also get on the apps in LA and I'm like, these are all actors.
Well, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah,
I think that's the biggest difference between
against actors. Obviously, I need that to do my job, but I just like,
be like, man, I don't know if I want to date an actor.
Yeah, I feel like in New York, in Nashville, there are other careers out there. There are a lot of different industries that people work in, whereas in LA, the majority of the people are in the industry.
Right.
At least the majority of the people on the apps.
Would you date an actor?
I would. I wouldn't say I'm going to say like absolutely not.
Yeah.
But it's tough. It's tough with my job. It blurs a line that makes things really complicated. And that's something that I'm always aware of. My job is always the first thing I think of, which is probably not the greatest thing, but it is the first thing I think of. I'm finally at the point in my career where I like love what I'm doing. I'm, happy where I am. I would never want to like jeopardize that for someone that maybe not is my person. If I'm 100% in love with someone, it doesn't matter what they do.
Who's the hottest celebrity you've interviewed?
Oh my gosh. I mean, George Clooney.
What?
Oh, God. I like probably blacked out. I barely remember. It was during Gravity. I interviewed him and Sandra Bullock together, and I was like, I don't know which one's hotter. I don't know how to function. I'm in love with both of you.
I know. I think Sandra. I think I'm picking, out of George and Sandra, I'm picking Sandra.
I don't know. The way he looks in your eyes and like shakes your hand. Oh,
you've touched George Clooney.
I've touched George Clooney.
I'm upset that you've washed your hands
I
after
should put
touching
that in
that
my
man.
Instagram bio.
That it should be Emily Longeretta before even anything about Variety has touched George Clooney. Because not a lot of people can say that. I will say
I've interviewed a lot of really great people, a lot of really attractive people. But that comes with the good and the bad.
Okay, so that my follow-up question, can you say like who's been like
I can't. My career I can't. But I will say usually the more famous are the kinder for the most part. Really? I will say people who are just getting started or reality stars or anything like that. Sorry.
Oh, reality stars are the worst. I'm just going to go ahead and say that.
It's like the entitlement is insane. Whereas Brad Pitt, professionally, he shows up and does the work. He does a red carpet and talks to every reporter. He doesn't have to. Brad Pitt doesn't need to promote anything. Tom Cruise doesn't need to promote anything. People are going to see his movies no matter what. True. But they will stand there and talk to everybody.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah, which same with George Clooney. He will look you in the eye and introduce himself. I remember that was so specific because not a lot of celebrities, if I say, hi, I'm Emily, nice to meet you, they'll just say hi and start talking. Where like George put his hand out and was like, hi, I'm George. And it's like, I know.
You're like, yeah, I'm aware. Trust me, I'm aware that you are George Clooney. But wow, we love a humble man.
We love a humble man.
Oh my God. I just want to swap places with you for like a day. You be an influencer. I'm going to work at Variety.
You would be so good at it.
I don't think so.
Yeah, you're so good at talking to people. That's the whole thing, is forming relationships and developing them.
I know, but if I was in front of George Clooney, I could not keep my shit together. I would be melting into a puddle.
I think it definitely takes some time. I fangirled out a lot in the beginning of my career, but I think that's normal. And I think that's part of why I'm good at my job. I think if you're still excited about it, you should be.
Right.
Like, I don't want to do a job that I'm bored at.
Amen to that, sister. I
still get very excited every time I've interviewed the Backstreet Boys now like a dozen times, and now they know who I am, and I'm like, every time that happens I freak out. I literally freak out. They're my first concert ever. I was like, I will forever be that person who's like a diehard fan, and I'm never going to be embarrassed of that.
Precious. Speaking of concerts, we went to Stagecoach together.
We did.
It was your first time. What?
It was an experience.
I personally
I had a blast.
Was it what you expected? I don't know why I just thought of that. I'm like, we need to tell the people about our Stagecoach experience.
I think it was what I expected for the most part. It's a lot of people. It was a lot of crazy, a lot of people taking photos of themselves, which like I expected.
Oh, and if you think Stagecoach is bad with like the photos and the influencers, Coachella is Stagecoach on crack. It's actually absurd.
Yeah, and I didn't mind it. I like thought it was so interesting. I was so intrigued, like just people watching the whole weekend. I loved that. I mean, and I loved Brooks and Dunn, obviously.
Oh, Brooks and Dunn.
In all my glory.
Every single morning I start my day now. I think of you every time. For some odd reason, I hear Brooks and Dunn and I think of you. I start every single morning. I play Red Dirt Road. For some reason, why is that my wake up song?
That's because it immediately puts you in a good mood. Like there's no way to be in a bad mood.
No, it is my go-to feel good song, and I think of you every single time. And my favorite moment of Stagecoach is the fact that we skipped Chris Stapleton,
the biggest performer.
We skipped because we were like, we need to be front row at Zed. Was it Zed?
It was Nelly.
No,
or did you go to Zed? I didn't go to Zed.
Was that Zed or another DJ?
The fact that I think it was Diplo.
It was Diplo. Sorry, they all look the same to me.
The fact that we don't even remember is also
Diplo, Zed. Look, I'm not a house music DJ girl.
Same.
Clearly, I'm like, I don't know the difference.
No, remember,
between the
I was
two.
like, I'm gonna go get the car because I was like, I'm not gonna. I wanted to drive.
You tapped out.
Yeah, it was. I had enough at that point.
So Emily was the responsible adult who went and was our mom and
I drove
got the car and picked us up
because I cannot deal with the Uber situation there. It makes me
I support
so
it.
anxious.
I had 4 mini bottles of Tito's in my boots and I drank them front row at Diplo.
As you
had
should.
a great time.
More power to you. I plan on drinking a lot of wine tonight at the Chicks.
Oh my God. Favorite chick song.
I mean, Goodbye Earl.
I think Traveling Soldier. Like, does that make me morbid?
Oh my gosh.
Oh my God.
It's
I will
so
stop
heartbreaking.
my
Are we going
eyes
to cry
out.
tonight? Probably.
Absolutely. Depends how much wine I have, but for sure will. Traveling Soldier. In high school, I was determined that was, I was like, I'm going to fall in love with the guy in the army. He's going to write me letters. I would like for him not to
I was
die.
like, do you know that he dies, right? Like, what?
I was getting to that point. I would like for him not to die, but I was like, oh my God, this is going to be like our song, but like a happy ending.
Mine was like ready to run. Anytime anything gets serious, I'm like, bye.
Bye. Is that the music video where she had the sneakers on?
Yes.
Iconic. Truly, truly, truly iconic. Wow. I'm excited.
Another reason I'll be single forever. So,
before we get into our questions, because I had this fun idea for those listening where Emily is a reporter and she's very good at her job. And I got a comment on my Instagram and I get messages, probably 200 DMs daily that I try and filter through. And most of them don't stick with me, but every now and then one will be seared into my brain. Mm-hmm. And someone last week was like, I love the podcast. It's great. And I'm like, oh my God, thank you. And then there was a but. They're like, but like, I'm tired of hearing you talk about reality TV. Like if that's like your comfort and all, etc. I want to hear deeper things about you. And I was like, well, first of all, everyone wants to know about reality TV. I'm making a list of everything people want to know and I'm checking it off for the podcast. But that did stick with me because I don't want to be like a broken record being like, I won Big Brother. Like, ew, how annoying. That's like the girl who peaked in high school. I don't want to be the girl who peaked on reality TV.
Right.
So my idea was to have you. I have no idea what you're going to ask me, but before this, I said, Emily, be a reporter, pull out the dirty details for me. Give me no context. Ask whatever questions you would ask. Say you're in the interview chair. Yeah. So, I mean, that's what we're going to do. I'm kind of scared. I just started sweating as I said that. But
I've been sweating the whole day. I will also say your apartment is so beautiful, but it's very warm.
Well, because
we're in Nashville and there's all these windows. They look so gorgeous. Everyone she's sending me all these pictures. I'm like, oh, her apartment's gorgeous. It is, but
it's
the
hot.
sun.
It's hot as hell.
Oh my gosh. It's so hot.
I know. I need to wipe the sweat off my upper lip.
Prepare yourself for this.
We also cannot record the podcast with AC, so I should have warned you about that because it's 100 degrees and probably 90% humidity in Nashville. Welcome, Emily, to the South. Very different from LA.
Oh, very, very different. But also, I grew up in upstate New York on a farm, and the humidity there outside.
You grew up on a farm?
Yeah, I feel like we've never
Did
talked
you
about
have
that.
animals?
No, we didn't have a farm. I just grew up like on farmland, like an
Okay.
acre of land. Like my whole, like my big party nights were like a bonfire and like a keg of beer.
Yep. So we used to, for fun in Granbury, Texas. I'm literally not kidding. Why am I saying this? People are going to judge. Our idea of fun, because we only had a movie theater and a Whataburger. So everyone would go meet up behind the movie theater and you would just watch the boys fight each other.
Yeah, of course. That's entertainment.
It was entertaining.
We had ride your tractor to school day.
Shut up.
I learned how to drive a tractor before I learned how to drive a car.
Did you just out country me? You're the reporter from LA who's from New York and you learned how to drive a tractor before a car, yet
you don't know how to drive a tractor?
No. I grew up in like the suburbs of Granbury, Texas, but no, there's no horses and tractors. And now I'm judging myself. What?
I mean,
am I a fraud? With my 20 pairs of cowboy boots in my closet, am I a fraud?
I think, and that's the funny thing is I think like people are like, oh, you're from upstate New York. People think, they think that's like Poughkeepsie, which is not upstate. Sorry from anyone from Poughkeepsie that says that. But yeah, I grew up like middle of nowhere, which I loved. And I had an amazing childhood. But yeah, it was like graduated with 100 kids. Everyone knew everyone. Everyone dated everyone.
Wait, so would you want to date a country boy if you're like from the country?
I'm attracted to country guys. Yeah. Like I would love to.
Southern gent.
Totally. Because I do think that like the gentleman factor is there much more in countrymen and boys that were raised that way than the guys in the city.
Yeah. Okay.
Like I like a guy that has his stuff together. So I don't want like a country boy who like never left town.
Okay. So we got to find a country boy. If anyone's listening and they're in the city of Los Angeles and you have a brother, a cousin, a friend who was raised in the South but now lives in the city, has his shit together and knows how to drive a tractor, send them to Emily because that might
like if you can grill some corn on the cob, a plus.
But also like that's if a man cannot operate a grill, I think that's a red flag for me. If you are a man and you do not know how to operate and use a grill, I'm sorry, it's a no. I'm not attracted to you anymore.
Yeah. No, I would agree with that. I would also say like if you're wearing socks with sandals at the grill, also a no. This was a big thing in my town. A lot of guys wear socks with sandals.
What kind of sandals? Like,
like slides.
Oh, like Adidas?
Sure. But
I'm thinking of like Jesus like sandals and socks, and I'm never been more turned off in my life.
That's like the red flag part of dating a country guy. Is there's a lot of that. There's a lot of
Emily, I never in my life have associated a country boy with socks and slides, but maybe that's a thing. And
like a Saturday afternoon, like socks and slides and like gym shorts.
No, oh my,
I'm not sorry. It's not it.
Okay, there's a difference between. I'm just thinking of all my red flags now. There's a difference between basketball shorts on a guy and gym shorts.
Wait, okay, so I don't know what the difference is. Those sound like the same thing to me.
Oh no, okay, so I'm thinking. So I like a man in a gym short. Like
totally.
Give me a man in a tank top who maybe works out at Shed. And wears like a Lululemon gym short.
Sure.
That's a gym short.
What's a basketball short?
A basketball short's like what you wear to play basketball.
Like
they're like
mesh?
that. Yes, and they're like kind of longer and they're swishy.
We don't do basketball shorts.
Nothing grosses me out more.
I have to show you a photo of my college boyfriend, who I will say this because I know he won't be listening. He probably doesn't know what a podcast is. So, but sorry for anyone who's friends with him. I know some people are. Okay, so
I don't think they're listening to my podcast.
I don't know. Basketball shorts, go-to look. This is a go-to look on everything. Every time we hung out, we dated for 2 years. Basketball shorts, big white t-shirt, earrings. The earrings were studs. On our first date, I took them and hid them so he never found them. I'm probably sure I still have them. Jordan, like Michael Jordan logo in stud earrings.
I don't know if I'm judging him or I'm judging you for liking him.
Like literally a boyfriend of 2 years. And one of my family's favorite boyfriend I dated because the most respectful man on the planet.
Oh, wait, let's compare our high school boyfriends. Okay, so that's
one of my questions was about your high school boyfriend. So this is a great. I feel like you've talked. We know who Voldemort is. We know about your dating now.
High school.
What about Let's talk about what was your dating life before?
Amazing. We're gonna transition into this little interview. Wow, I feel like I'm at Variety. Okay, high school boyfriend. This is actually a wild story. He definitely doesn't listen to this podcast, but I met this guy. I was a competitive cheerleader, and he randomly just showed up at my cheer gym one day. I know, kind of a red flag. Who are you? Why are you at cheer practice?
Major red flag.
Why are you at cheer practice right now? I don't know, but he was outgoing and charismatic. Okay. And let me just paint you a picture, though, of this man. Bleach blonde hair. Shaggy. Think Justin Bieber, but bleached. Okay. Red flag. Number 1. 2, had the earrings. Big diamond studs.
What was wrong with these guys and these earrings? Guys, it's not it.
But also, like, me being a small town girl from Granbury, I was like, sexy. Earrings, studs, love them.
Badass.
I can borrow his earrings. Cool.
We can share jewelry.
He had 2 massive star tattoos on his shoulder. My dad's nightmare. Literal.
True.
But they were black. Like, they were just, someone essentially took
like
the
stamp,
tattoo
basically.
Marker thing that whatever tattooers
a needle.
use. I don't have tattoos, so I'm like, I just think of like a marker. And they just filled it in like a Sharpie. So just 2 black stars on his shoulder. He was probably my height. So like a petite little man. But I don't know. Oh, for sure was in a tanning bed every day. Like bleach blonde hair, very tan. Like, essentially belonged on Jersey Shore. But he randomly popped up at cheer practice. And I was like, I think I'm in love.
So he went to your school? Went to your high school?
Here's the crazy part. Crazy. Emily,
this is like really creepy.
This honestly should be a Dateline story.
I'm scared.
So he showed up and he became friends with all of us. And we're like, oh, who's the new guy? He seems fun. So we're asking, obviously, where do you go to school? He was like, I'm homeschooled. Okay, interesting. You popped up out of nowhere. You're homeschooled. Tell us about your family. My parents died in a car crash.
Okay.
Tragic.
Who homeschools them?
I live with my aunt. Apparently, that was who we were like, okay, well, where's your house? He was like, oh, I live in a town over. Okay. Red flags. So he comes around more. For some odd reason, I start dating this man. My parents are like, what is happening?
How old are you?
I'm 16.
Okay.
He also drives a truck that has like illegal black tinted windows,
Naturally.
no license plate. Very, very shady situation.
Yep.
But at the time, I was a rebellious girl. I was like, I want to get out of this small town. Ooh, look at this rebel. And it's like, no, look at the Jersey Shore Ronnie 2.0 that you're dating. Disgusting. And I can say that because he did cheat on me in the end with one of my friends that I cheered with. So I can call this man disgusting. So we start dating. Obviously, he comes around my family, but I've never been to his house. I've never met this aunt of his ever. Always comes around with my family. Well, then my parents are asking him, and He gives us this crazy story. My parents were driving the car. I was in the back. They got in a head-on collision. Both of them died. I survived. Of course, everyone's
gosh,
oh my God, tragic. Like, let us help you. We feel
as
so
a human
bad
being.
as all of these things. Then one day, we've been dating for like 6 months. Also, another red flag in this relationship. God,
it's okay. You were young. You're a child.
We've done a lot of therapy. Yeah. We've ran away from the red flag men. I used to be very attracted to them. Anytime we would get in a fight, he would buy me, at the time they were cool, a pair of Miss Me jeans. I would just show up to this bedazzled pair of pants waiting for me.
Bedazzled jeans.
And I was like, oh my God, Miss Me, what? He loves me so much. Then he gave me a promise ring.
Whoa.
Gag.
Whoa.
And I thought it was so cool.
Yeah, in high school,
I wore it on a chain around my neck. So I was like, I don't want to wear it on my finger, but like, look at me, girl. It's my promise ring that I'm pretty sure he picked up out of like a vending machine, like a little like
stole it,
whatever. Who freaking knows? We're getting to the point where yes, maybe he did steal it, because I don't know. So out of the blue one day, my dad gets this email from a coworker, and she said, "Hey, I saw your daughter posted something on Facebook with this guy's name." She's like, "That's so funny. I'm really good friends with his mom and dad."
No.
My dad goes, "Oh, I thought that they tragically passed away in a car accident." She's like, "No, they're alive." Like, she's like, "Yeah, I'm good friends with his mom."
Lies about their parents.
Okay, so the parents are still alive. We don't know if the aunt ever existed. Then one day,
this is the wildest thing
I
I've
thought
heard.
that he was 18. That's what he said. I don't know this man's age. I, to this day, think that I was 16 and he was probably in his 20s. So one day, he's hanging out at my house. He leaves his wallet there. And I'm like, oh my God. I call him, "Hey, you left your wallet." I've never seen a man freak out more because his ID was in there. And for some reason, we didn't put two and two together to actually look at his ID and his age, which now looking back, I'm like, this man was 1,000%. I still to this day do not know where he turned up from. One day he just walked into our cheer gym and was like, "Hey guys, I'm from the town over. I'm homeschooled. Let's all be friends." And we're like, "Yeah, fine."
Listen, I'm a reporter, so after we get off this, you're giving me his name and all the information you do know, and I will find out his age and probably where he's living.
Oh my God,
will find
please,
this.
please.
Anyone, this is my favorite thing to do when guys I match with on dating apps are like, "You won't be able to find my last name. You won't be able to find me." I'm like, give me 2 minutes and I'll
Oh
be
my
able
God,
to find
I'm going
you.
to give you his information.
Oh, 100%.
I think it's a fake last name though. I think it legitimately, I don't think that's his real last name, because we did the research trying to find his parents, this tragic car crash, his aunt, all this. I don't think he ever lived with the aunt.
Everything he told you could have been a lie.
I still, to this day, do not know who this man is. But he did run into my parents at a restaurant in Fort Worth the other day, because my mom called me and she's like, "You'll never guess who I ran into." And he asked like, "How you're doing?"
She was like, "He was 65.
Surprise! He's in a retirement home.
He was hanging out with your dad's friends.
By the way, but no, he came up and he was like, "Kim and Kurt." And I was like, "Mom, please tell me." My mom's such a nice Southern woman. So of course she like hugged him and like asked. And I was like, disgusting. But it was a blessing in disguise, because we dated all throughout high school. And then one day I get a call and it was like the girl on my cheer team was like, "Yeah, I was making out with your boyfriend." And I was like, damn, that sucks. Like, sick. And then we broke up, and then I went to college and all as well. Oh. I think he did make me give the promise ring back, which like,
wow.
I know. He made me give the promise ring back. He said,
"Can
you put it in the gas tank of my truck?"
Yeah. Oh my gosh. That is the sketchiest thing I've ever heard.
Wait. Here's where the story gets even more insane. I forgot about this. Like, this should have been a Dateline. I mean, obviously it wasn't, because I'm still alive.
I know, thankfully.
He didn't murder me. But so after this happens, we break up. The girl on my cheer team, I'm like, "Oh, cool. So you stole my Guido boyfriend."
Naturally.
That happens. So I thought, okay, we break up. You're going to go home to wherever you're from.
Right.
Probably not even in Texas. I don't know where you came from. Idaho. I don't know why that is the state I thought of. So no, you know what he does? He was like a master manipulator, con artist. Obviously, he lied about his age and his parents and everything. He moved in to my best friend's home.
What?
He moved into my best friend at the time, who I cheered with, because he gave her family some sob story that his aunt kicked him out and he had nowhere to go. So of course everyone's like, "Oh my God, your parents are dead." I'm like, his parents are not dead. They're alive. They're alive and well.
Yeah, weren't you telling people this?
I was, and no one believed me. I know, it's wild. I was like, "No, he's lying." And they're like, No, like he's alone. He has no one to take care of. He moved into their guest room. So every time I went to go hang out, they were like the party family. They had a pool. So I would have to go over, and my ex-con artist, 65-year-old boyfriend is in their guest room. It was wild. But that's my high school boyfriend.
Oh my gosh.
But that was not the
such
answer.
A turn. The whole moral of this is that, like, for you and I, we can't date guys with earrings and studs. Not it.
No. If you have your ears pierced, I'm sorry. I'm sure there's lovely men out there with piercings.
Sure.
It's a no for me.
It's a no for me too.
Okay.
It's a no for me too.
Love that.
All right. So one of the things, I'm going to totally make a big jump here. One of the things that you have mentioned a few times but haven't really posted about, and I saw that someone else had asked this, so I'm also stealing from them. Okay. Is like why faith is so important to you and when that started. So I'm curious how that became such a big part of your life, and if it always was. It
always was. So I grew up in small town Granbury, Texas. My mom and dad, very religious. So I grew up in a Methodist church. Like if you think of my upbringing, stereotypical Southern suburban Texas. I went to church every Sunday, in the dresses with the hymns, went to vacation Bible school, did confirmation, all of that stuff. So I grew up in a church, but I was never, I don't know if you've been to a Methodist church, like anything that involves a hymn. Yeah. Not for me.
I grew up Methodist too. Yeah. That's why I didn't realize you did. Yeah. That's why
we're friends. Methodist girls. So I did that. And then in college, I feel like I kind of, it sounds bad, but I guess lost some of my faith because I got wrapped up in all I wanted to do essentially in my 18 years being in Granbury. I wanted to get out and I wanted freedom. I wanted to do the opposite of how I was being raised. So I didn't want to go to church anymore. I didn't want to have this regimented schedule. I wanted to drink. I wanted to party. I wanted to do my own thing. I wanted to get away from my parents in my small town. So I went to UT, and somehow that statement makes it sound like I was not successful in school. Like I somehow managed to graduate with a 4.0. And so I was able to be a degenerate, and also thankfully my parents instilled enough morals. So I had balance. But once I got to school, I was like, I don't want to go to church. That's the last thing I want to do right now. So I feel like I distanced myself from my faith in school. And then I feel like even in my past relationship with Voldemort, I hate bringing that up, but it's kind of part of the story, is I was all in for someone else. And that meant putting faith on the back burner, not going to church because they didn't want to go to church. And it was really that breakup. I'll never, ever, ever forget. In the back of my head, I always knew, I am a Christian. I do believe I need to be praying more. I know God's listening. And I was so desperate at the end of that relationship to get out. I just remember once I found out he cheated, I got the call. I was crying in the bathroom, and I literally, sounds so dramatic, I dropped to my knees and I was like, thank you, God. Like that was an answered prayer. And that was really when everything shifted. I was like, all right, that got me out of that situation. I'm now free. I'm now alone. I'm now heartbroken. Who do we turn to? Like it really was. I feel like God shining a light on me, being like, hey, I'm still here. Yeah. I'm still around. And I think that was when I got closer with my faith. And then moving to Nashville, I think really sped it up. I think the last year, obviously being in LA, I would go to church here and there. I was, praying more, getting closer to God. I was healing. But being in Nashville, church is so different than LA. In LA, I went to church home. People were in Louboutins. Justin Bieber went to my church. You would leave church and there was paparazzi outside. So it was just a very different thing. Here, I love the community. All the friends I've made are very big Christians. So I feel like that strengthened my faith. And I've just realized it's so much more of a priority for me. And also,
do you go to the same church here? Just a different...
No. So I found a new church, Cross Point's great. They have online services. I love it.
And you were at Hillsong before, as my guess?
I was at Church Home with Judah.
Oh, okay.
And I loved it. It was just more of a production, less of a community, I felt like. So getting here, I've gotten much closer to God. And also I've noticed a significant difference. I almost feel uncomfortable or weird or cliche saying that, being like, the more I pray, the more blessings I see. And the more I share, the more I really do feel like I'm fulfilling whatever this purpose is for me. I think for the longest time, I'm like, all right, the point of being a Christian is to share your faith. And I wasn't doing that. And I have this platform. So I almost felt guilty. And the more guilty I felt, the more I stepped back from it. So I think the more I've leaned into that and kind of seen the response where it's not weird, people actually do like when I share more of it, has kind of brought me to where I am now. And I'd like to share more. But yeah, that's like, there's no like crazy, it's not like I had this like tragic accident or I turned to drugs and I needed God to help me. No, I grew up in a church and then was kind of a drunken degenerate in college and then got back to Jesus.
Yeah, 100%. Oh my gosh, I love this. Well, kind of on the same realm, I feel like people don't really, like you said, some people get uncomfortable talking about religion. People get uncomfortable talking about politics.
Yeah.
You never talk about politics. Is that, do you specifically choose not to?
I choose
like,
not
have you thought
to
about it?
Mainly because it's going to alienate no matter what.
Right. But so could religion.
So can religion. I also just don't feel like I'm honestly educated enough. I try my best to be aware, but there's always something with politics, a new law, a new this, a new that. And for me, I think because I grew up in a church and that's always been my faith, I'm more comfortable sharing about that. When it comes to politics, I feel like, I don't know, I feel like faith is uplifting and it brings people up. I feel like everything about politics, no matter what side you are on in our day and age, it is all negative.
Yeah.
And for me and my platform, I decided from the get-go, I was like, this is going to be an escape for people. It's going to be a positive page. I try my best, even with news and depressing things. Like even the shooting in Nashville was hard for me to share about because it just made me feel so depressed and you want to help and you want to be uplifting, but I can't help. Like all those children died. Like, I can share petitions. I can share, and I did like sign this. We need change, but that's not going to bring children back. Yeah. So that's kind of where my stance on that. It's so difficult for me because you want to appease everyone. And whatever I do, there's always,
it's impossible.
It's impossible, but especially with politics, I'm just not willing to open those floodgates because people are so cruel. So it's like, I want to protect myself. And I also, I don't know, you can go on Twitter, you can go on the news, you can see politics there. For me, I'm like, I'm positive and upbringing. I'm sure people are going to have an issue with that answer, but that's always been my stance and that will be my stance.
What you said also is like, I give you a lot of credit. And this is what I say too when people ask me about it, even on like dates or when they make new friends, when you say like, I'm not fully educated enough about it. I could totally disagree with someone, but if I'm not educated enough, which is part of the reason why there's such debates because people aren't knowing the facts on each side, I'm like, I'm not going to pretend that I know this better than you do.
Right.
Because
just
I might not.
to prove a point. And I think that's it for me. I've got 300,000 people who follow me. So for me, I feel like if I'm going to put out information, I need it to be correct.
Right.
I need to
like you have a responsibility.
Everything. It's my responsibility if I'm swaying other people to be as educated as I can. And I've never been good with politics. I try my best. Trust me. I use Google. I read the news articles, but it's also just depressing as hell.
Totally.
And I look with politics. I don't think anyone's going to win with anything. I don't think there's a correct answer. I don't think there's a correct way to vote, sway. I think unfortunately the world we're in is just simply corrupt. And that's where we're at.
We're in a mess right now. It's fine. I didn't mean to take it down to a different note, but I think it's important because I think people, if I wonder it and we're friends, I'm like, oh, I want to know. And I feel like people would want to know.
Yeah.
Do you ever get asked about it or no?
I did during the election because that was just such a hot topic of like, you need to do this, you need to do that. And I was just like, you know what? I have my own opinions. I'm not going to force them down your throat though. With anything.
Right.
So no, after the election, it obviously went away. I'm sure come the next election, it'll be another way for anyone who has a platform. I think there's a pressure.
Yeah.
Still probably won't do it, but I
mean,
maybe I'll change my mind.
A lot of like actors and people I talk to in the industry even are like, yeah, just because I'm in the, like, why do I need to share my view on it? Like, I'm not trying to push it down people's throats or be like, I'm an expert because I'm an actor. No, I'm not an expert either.
Like, ask me about movies.
Yeah, like that's not my field.
Guys, ask me about fitness, travel, the color pink. I'm up to speed with that. Okay, like I'm confident in my ability to talk on that. Politics, not so much.
Yeah, I'm running down all the topics that you're not supposed to ask about.
Hit me with
it. Okay, let's talk about money.
Okay.
This is really fun because I think the influencer life is obviously something you're pretty open about, but there's a lot of like questions about it, about how much money you can actually make. And I think you recently said like you wouldn't go back on the challenge because it would be a waste of money for you. You can make more regularly. How much, I'm not going to ask you how much you make. How much difference had you been making like from the beginning to now? How big of a jump are you at?
Insane. Actually, like insanity. Okay. I'm trying to figure out how I can phrase this without being like, here's my income.
Totally. No. Yeah, I don't want you to get an income.
So when I first got off Big Brother, to put it into perspective, I think I had 20,000 followers. I really didn't gain a lot from that show. Yeah. I got excited if I made $250 off a teeth whitening ad, I think was the first thing that I got. And I just remember making any kind of money off social media. I was like, what? This is a real thing?
Totally.
But that was before I realized it could be an actual career.
Yeah.
For me, I was like, this is fun, pocket money, stuff like that. But I think now as time has gone on, the social media landscape has also changed. Now it's full-blown careers for people. I think when influencing first started, it was kind of lucrative. People didn't know what to expect. It was, I don't know, everyone just saying yes to every deal just to make some money.
Right.
And now it is, I mean, I just bought a car.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that says
yeah.
what I'm doing, but it's to the point where my dad no longer questions why I don't have a 9 to 5. He's very confident that I'm able to pay my rent. I'm able to support myself completely on my own. And I'm more secure now than I think I ever would be working. I mean, I was trying to be a reporter.
Yeah.
I mean, that would have been a very difficult way. I think reporters deserve so much credit. Journalists, MMJs, all that. They do not get paid enough for what they do. It is wild to me.
Yeah.
No, so I do feel very blessed. I mean, there's pros and cons to every job, but I feel like with my job, there's so many more pros.
Of course.
And I'll tell anyone, I'm very open with this. Influencers get paid a stupid amount of money, and I'm on the lower. I'm like in the grand scheme.
Yeah, can we talk about the tiers? What are the tiers of I
think you meant the tears. I'm like, I haven't cried since this morning, Emily.
Like, it's been 3 hours. What do you mean?
I'm like, what? I'm not crying.
Like the tiers of what you were maybe when you started, when you were like 20K to where you are now. Difference financially. Is that like thousands? Is that hundreds? Like, what is the difference?
Hundreds, for sure. I'd say, and now it has changed too. And my manager is so up to speed with all of this. I mean, she does podcasts. I need to bring her on here, but now it's more, it used to be the numbers mattered so much. 20,000, 200,000, 2 million, that kind of determines your pay. Now it's the quality of your content. So influencers with 20,000, if you're creating bomb content and have great engagement, you can be making more than someone with 200,000 who isn't connected to their audience, gets 3 likes. If you're a female and you have mainly male followers, no company wants that. Your pay is cut. You won't get any deals, actually, which is why I'm so like, men, love you. Don't follow me. This is affecting how much I get paid. So yeah, it is different. But back then, I bet at 20,000 followers, I was making in a year maybe $10,000.
Okay. So
like
nothing.
it was nothing. And now, I mean, it's my full-time job.
Yeah.
So anytime I complain, and I almost even feel silly being like, oh my God, my TikTok's being hacked. It's like, shut up, Morgan. Like, literally, I have to remember that I'm very blessed. I'm very fortunate to have stumbled into what I do. But yeah, I mean, I hope I can continue doing it. I got my TikTok back, so at least I can continue making money off that.
Will you share? You don't have to share what company. Will you share the most you've ever made on a post? Or from a partnership?
Yeah. I mean, you have to remember it depends on the pieces of content.
Of course. So this could be like 30.
Right. So it's I want to say one of the deals I did, I think the biggest was like 28,000.
That's a lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money. Like, that's a ton of money. But I mean, you're just saying, like, if you kind of are going up to that point of the next tier, if you are making things like that, but that's not every single thing you post.
Right. And with that, that's not like I made one reel and I got cut that check.
Right.
A lot of times when you get a bigger sum of money with these influencer deals, it'll be 3 reels, 3 stories, stuff like that.
Well, and a lot of it's not like that means they're also providing lights to make it look good. You have to pay for that. You have to pay for your clothes, or if you have to go somewhere, sometimes you have to pay for the travel.
And like I have a videographer, so it's like then I pay them that fee. If I have an editor, then I pay them that fee. So you have to take into account, I mean, it's still a stupid amount of money, and I am like, so thankful. And
course.
my parents are just, anytime I'm like, I got this deal, like I'm so excited. My mom's like, what? I'm like, I know, Mom, I don't get it either. But guess what? I do get the occasional death threat and someone telling me to go kill myself. So, again, pros and cons to every job. I'll take making a pretty good income over having to listen to Karen from Wisconsin yell at me about hating my pants or whatever they yell at me for.
How often do you get actually upset about responses you get?
When I first started, all the time.
Like legitimately,
legitimately upset. I also 24. So being a 24-year-old coming off reality TV, I didn't know who I was. I was still trying to grow and figure out who is Morgan. And now all of a sudden I had the weight of all these people being like, here's what I think you are. Here's what I hate about you. Here, you look ugly here. You look good here. So anytime someone said anything to me, I would get upset and I would instantly, like if someone responded to a story, I would delete the story. If someone said something about a post, I would archive the post because it would affect my confidence.
Yeah.
And now I've done it so much and I'm also so secure with who I am. Look, not everyone likes me. I'm aware of that. I'm wearing a hot pink onesie on my couch. Like not everyone's going to think that's cute, but I'm like, I like it.
Yeah.
And I've realized I'm more happy when I actually am who I am than I am deleting something, trying to appease the people. And I've done this, I'm 29. So I guess only 5 years. Wow. It feels like I've been doing it for 50 years. But now very, very little affects me. If anything, I try and just learn from it. Like that comment where she was like, I don't like what you're saying on your podcast. Can you do this? It didn't offend me, but it made me a little bit more self-aware of, okay, here's something that I can maybe work on, but I'm not going to let it affect my confidence.
Right. Because feedback is feedback. I mean, at the end of the day, that's also helps you.
Yeah, exactly.
As someone that's running a business.
Right. I mean, I will say, because people will call me out for that. They'll be like, we know we watch your stories. You do get offended.
Yeah, of course.
Sometimes I do like to be petty and like screenshot their messages and be like, stop being mean on the internet. Like, let's hold each other accountable. So yes, sometimes I think, but also I'm human. If I'm having a bad day, if I'm on my period, if I'm tired, I think comments may affect me a little bit more. But for the most part, I can let them roll off.
What is the biggest misconception about you think?
Oh, man. Because if you do look at my social media and you do not know me, I do think people might not think I'm the smartest. Like, look, if you look at my page and you see pink, sparkles, shimmies, all the girliness, I am aware how that can come off to someone. A lot of people are like, oh my God, she's vapid. There's no depth to her. And in reality, I actually do think I am so mindful. I love so many more things besides just like pink and sparkles. And I think that's the hardest part about dating. Yeah. For real. Is guys will look at my page and be like, she's just a dumb influencer. All she wants to do is sit on her phone. Like one guy that I was hanging out with even told me, he's like, I'm so impressed that you're not on your phone. I was like, really? Like, I have manners. I'm self-aware human. I feel like people think that I legitimately, during a conversation, am taking selfies, scrolling Instagram, being, oh my God, can you stop? Can you take these pictures of me? And it's like, no, it is my job, but I also know how to be a human. Obviously. And I was raised right and I have a good head on my shoulders. So I think that's the hardest is I hate that people think I'm just like some dumb influencer. It's like, no, I have a business. I got an S Corp. Okay, I got a business debit card. It says Move Like Morgan Inc. Okay? We've got businesses. Like, I'm not dumb.
Will you tell me how Move Like Morgan works on the business side? Because I'm so fascinated. Honestly, one of my friends recently asked me, and because they were like, oh, like, no, that we're friends. And they're like, what is? And I was like, I need to ask her to explain it to me because I don't know.
Okay, Move Like Morgan. So essentially the corporation, now Move Like Morgan started as just my fitness business.
Right.
Started during the pandemic. I was like, how can I connect with people? Everyone's working out at home. Honestly, I thought Instagram was going to go away tomorrow. Marketers, whatever, started pulling ad dollars. Yeah. Influencers were getting paid. I was like, what do I do? And then I realized everyone wanted at-home workouts. So I was like, all right, how can I capitalize? So I've always been someone who's a hustler. I don't like being complacent. I like working. So for the pandemic, for me, I launched Move Like Morgan. It started as like online training. That was really all it was going to be. It was something to do during the pandemic. Then I realized how it affected people. I grew a community. I also loved seeing people fall in love with fitness. I love fitness. I'm a psycho. I love it so much. A lot of people are like, I hate sweating. I hate working out. And I'm like, give me a month. I guarantee you I can change that. So that's kind of how the fitness aspect started. Then from there, after the pandemic, I launched an app. We took it online. But now Move Like Morgan kind of encompasses everything. So I have an S Corp mainly for tax purposes because it's just very beneficial. I needed something to get a tax break. I could go into that. I honestly don't even understand it. You know, I should get my tax lady Yolanda on the podcast because Yolanda can
Shout out to Yolanda.
Shout out Yolanda. I go in frazzled every year doing my taxes. And she's like, what's wrong? And I'm like, I don't know. I had to take a Xanax before this because I'm so just like out of sorts because there's so many different working parts to this like Move Like Morgan umbrella. So it started as the fitness business. From there, the fitness business turned into an app, which turned into merchandise. So I sell my sweatshirts, I sell my planners, all of that. Then from there, I took it to my online platform, which is movelikeMorgan.com. So that is home to my blog. So I've got a travel blog. Then I've got Instagram, which is my main source of income. So that still falls under like the Move Like Morgan umbrella. Then we launched a travel retreat, which is Miles with Morgan. So then that is started as a fitness retreat. Now it's kind of more travel. What else to do? I have a book club, Margaritas. So that falls under, I guess, the Morgan umbrella. Then there's like my Like to Know It. That's how I get the commission with my sales. And there's Morgan's Closet. I sell my clothes there.
This is insane. You realize as you're listing how many businesses
I'm sure I'm forgetting something. But yeah, so all of those fall under this like giant umbrella. That's why I'm constantly in a state of stress. That's why I have a therapist. This is why
you and I are friends. We literally were like, I came over and she was like, I might have to do a little work tomorrow. And I was like, I have so much work to do that if you said we need to sit there for a couple hours and not speak, I'm so fine with it. And you're like, bless, because that's the kind of people you need in your life, that it's not stressful. It's like, if I need to work, if I need to end this trip early, if I need to stay an extra day, like, we'll make it work because we all have shit
Or like
going
we'll
on.
Be at breakfast and be like, hang on, I got to be on my phone real quick. And I'm like, girl, you check those emails. What else do you need? Cool, because I can check mine. It's great. No, that's why we're friends.
Honestly, that's why you have to surround yourself with like-minded people.
Yes, or else people think it's annoying or they don't get it. Or that's been my biggest struggle in Nashville is I adore my friends. They're wonderful people, but none of them do what I do.
Right.
So it is interesting being like, hey guys, can you take a picture of me? And they've all been so helpful, but it's different for sure.
I feel like you answered all of my questions.
Oh, hell yeah. That was easy.
I know. I didn't even put you on the spot. I feel like you've talked about the things that are like hot topics and we already know those things.
Yeah. I mean, I'm an open book on my Instagram, but it's mainly on my stories. I feel like my Instagram feed is very curated. It's still influencery.
It has to be.
You're putting your best foot forward, all that. My stories is where I cry, I say stupid shit, I open up, I'm more mindful, but I mean, if you're not seeing my stories, which now with the freaking algorithm,
oh my gosh,
a lot of people aren't seeing it. So yeah, no, I think that's why people probably are like, can you be a little deeper on the podcast? I'm like, Emily, ask me deep questions.
You're trying. We talked about your high school boyfriend.
No. I think you actually hit a lot of really good questions.
Wait, what's the best date you've ever been on?
Oh, I hate this question. I honestly don't think I've been on.
Did you say you hate this question?
I actually hate. I'd rather talk about my high school boyfriend with the star tattoos, who's now 65.
Also, the star tattoos.
I'm gonna have to show you a photo.
Yeah,
I'll
I
actually
can't
have
wait
to
find
post
this person.
I'll have to block. He follows me on Instagram. I'll have to block him, and then I'll post a photo.
Yeah, or you
of us in
blur
high
out
school.
His face maybe to like be a little.
Oh yeah, I'll blur it out. But you guys can see the bleach blonde hair.
I need the tattoos.
Okay. Yeah,
okay.
absolutely.
Are they on the shoulder blades?
They're not even there. They're like on his like chest.
Oh no. No.
It would be better if they were on the shoulders. I feel like that'd be cooler.
Do you have a type? I feel like you don't have a type.
Everyone asks me that.
Yeah, because I feel like
type. No, I say I go more for personality.
Yeah.
Which
like
now
a vibe for me, but
I'm starting to shift on what I think my type is because it hasn't worked out for me in the past. I go for naturally, just my first inclination is the loudest person in the room. Yeah. I am such an extroverted person. I want to be the life of the party, the center of the dance floor. So I'm immediately attracted to the guy who's going to pull me on the dance floor, be larger than life. But what I've realized is when there's two people like that, one person is getting the energy sucked out of them.
Yeah.
And like with Voldemort, I was giving all that energy to someone else. So now I've kind of shifted my type a little bit. Whereas I do like a larger than life personality, but I can be okay with someone who's maybe a little bit more reserved.
Right. But physically,
I just need them to be fit.
Okay.
If your arms are smaller than mine,
There's
I
a problem.
can't speak to you. If you cannot lift me up, can't speak to you.
Has that always been the case? Like, do your exes all look
No.
a similar look?
I
mean,
will-
obviously, Voldemort and this bleach blonde man.
Let me
look a little
describe
different.
to you
Yeah,
the
because I want to
variety.
explain mine after. It's
Okay.
wild.
High school, we had bleach blonde, Jersey Shore, 65-year-old con artist.
Super tan. Okay.
Super tan. Then my high school boyfriend, think of just like the most basic
College
white
boyfriend?
dude. Oh, sorry. This
Yes.
is my second high school boyfriend.
Okay.
So the first one, my second high school boyfriend, I actually was the one I traveled with. We went to Barcelona together. We're
Yes.
still good friends, but just like your basic kind of short white dude.
Yep.
Normal, no tattoos, wears a polo, works in real estate now. So normal.
I can see it. Yeah.
My college boyfriend is 7 feet tall.
Oh my.
He's 6'10", but essentially 7 feet tall.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Super, like basically translucent, like so pale.
Okay.
So imagine a very, very, very fair-skinned, blonde, 7-foot dude who
Love
lived in
this.
Japan.
Okay.
Yeah, weird. Played basketball there. That's why we broke up. Anyways, was not meant to be.
Okay.
And then there was Voldemort, who's like
Fit bro.
fit bro, Botox,
Right.
Italian.
Yeah.
And then, that's it.
All right. And that's it. So I mean,
it.
you will die at mine because high school, one was like basic white guy, like you had said.
Okay.
Then
Was this basketball shorts?
this is the high school going into college and the first boyfriend in college. Yes. Also translucent. Earrings, basketball shorts, super jock. Never saw him in anything but a white t-shirt that was
Love
like
that.
size XL. Red hair also.
Oh,
Redhead.
a ginger.
Yeah. On and off boyfriend in high school, also red hair, longer than mine.
Okay.
Curly. Wild.
I want photos.
Yes, for sure. Other college boyfriend, president of a frat club, but the least frat.
What
frat?
frat?
Club?
Frat club.
Is that a
I
thing?
like that
Do
more.
you like this? ZBT?
I loved ZBT in college.
The least fratty guy I'd ever met.
Okay.
And again, very respectful, from Poland, like stand-up guy.
She's an exotic girl from Poland.
From Poland, you know. Shout out. And then after him, head to toe tattoos, gauges that you could like, his holes in his ears are so big you can put your finger through them. Fit, attractive, but yeah, covered in tattoos, full body. And then my last boyfriend, who was 8 years of my life, was business guy for the most part. But life of the party, middle of the dance floor, everywhere we went. And like,
I love that.
Great with parents, great with all that. I love all that too.
Yeah.
And I'm still friends with everyone that I just named. Friendly,
Really?
I will say. I mean, I don't know if friends is the word, but friendly is the go-to. But
I like that.
none of them look anything like the other. Like it could not be
most
different.
people though. I
Yeah.
feel like I almost think it's weird if you date all the same person.
But then it's like, what are you attracted to? And people are like, well, I like this and this and this. I like brunettes. And then there are guys are all
I will
like
say
blonde.
I do like tall, dark, handsome.
Same.
Like blondes kind of freak me out, but I would like a blonde child. So I got to figure out that one. It's fine. Put a wig on him. I'm kidding. I will love my child for whatever hair color they have.
How many kids do you want, ideally?
2.
Okay.
I like a wholesome 2. You know why? Because I always get freaked out. If you have 3 kids, what does the third kid do
know,
on
I
a
feel
roller
like
coaster? I always think of that.
Oh.
What do they do?
They sit in the seat behind.
There's like
with-
mom and dad, and then there's brother, sister, and then there's the weird kid in the back who gets left alone on the roller coaster.
Well, like, there's
it has to sit with a random stranger.
It's likely that mom and dad, both of them won't like roller coasters. So one of them
I
will
know,
be
but I
off.
always think or where do they sit? You have a weird kid in the middle seat in a car. I'm like, no, I don't want a minivan. So therefore, we're topping it at 2.
Yeah. 2 and then you're done.
That's it. How many do you want?
I don't.
Oh.
I don't want kids.
I love that.
Yeah.
Travel the world, sis.
Dude, I shouldn't say like, I've never say never, obviously. But I feel like when I think of my future, I don't see kids.
Okay.
That said, I'm well aware that I could meet somebody and that could change. But right now I'm like, I don't see myself having kids and I'm okay with that. And for
love
so
that.
long, I was like, I can't say that out loud. Women are supposed to want children.
No, I think you
now
want
I'm like,
whatever you want.
Why? Yeah. Who cares? Why?
Yeah, oh my God. Also, like, I saw the Barbie movie and I'm like, hell yeah, go females. We can do whatever the hell we want. If you haven't seen the Barbie movie, go see it now. But Emily, I could chat to you right here all day long, but
we're going to go have some wine.
We've got to go see the chicks, and I've got to put on my denim on denim ensemble.
Woo-hoo.
Thanks for asking me all the tough questions.
Yay, thanks for having me.
You're welcome anytime. For those who want to, if you want to see Emily like post with cool celebrities, Emily, what's your social media?
At Emily Longeretta on all platforms.
It's easy. She posts like cool reporter things.
Interviews. Yeah. I guess like interviews.
Oh my God, I love your interview stuff. I actually think it's fascinating.
Thank you.
You're a badass. I love you. Thank you.
you.
And guys, thanks for listening. I'll see everyone next week. Thanks so much for listening to the Your Internet Best Friend podcast. It's been real. It's been fun. And I will see everyone here next week. In the meantime, do all the podcast things. Like, subscribe, give me a 5-star review if you please. And catch up with me on social media at Morgan Lee Willette. Bye, besties.